Hello everyone, today is April 4th and this is etcd community meeting. We have two things or we are getting more things on our agenda, but let's start from the first one by Andrei. Do you want to talk about the etcd operator?
Yes, but you're not sharing your screen. Is it okay or you shouldn't?
Okay. I will try to share if something broke. Okay. Okay. If everyone is seeing, then feel free to start.
Okay. Hello, everyone. We are Ionix, and we organized a group of people, of passionate people, especially from Russian-speaking Kubernetes community. It is very huge. I think 10,000 people. So we formed a group to develop an etcd operator for our needs. We're developing Cozy Stack. It's a platform which allows to run Kubernetes in Kubernetes native way. So we need etcd operator. We made some research. We found that there is none of which you can just get and start using. Most of them are not working properly. For example, the main one from Koros is deprecated. Various projects from Red Hat, which needed to manage etcd as static resources. It is so many various options we considered, but we haven't found one. We decided that we have to develop a new 15th standard, which will combine all of them. So we want to be more close to official community, to etcd, and we actually want to develop to official etcd operator. We are here in the early phase of development because we need to get your requests to develop it the more proper way. So anybody can use this operator as common project for their needs. As about adopters, I think that's mainly Hypershift project, our project, Cozy Stack, Kamaji, and some various options to run Kubernetes in containers, as well some adopters from storages, LeanStore, VitaStore, and cluster management software for databases. They're also using etcd, and they also easily to run inside of Kubernetes. That's it. I just want to say that our intention to be close to you and to develop really common thing. So please, let's make it further. I don't know, what should we do here? We need some SIG to sponsor our ideas, and we want to have a place under etcd SIG. I'm not sure. Can somebody please elaborate in that what we actually need?
Yeah, sure. I can start with, so to give you some context, like overall to community, the idea of operator, I mean, etcd was the first real operator in Kubernetes, so it's nothing new. And unfortunately, all the projects that were also mentioned by Andrei, they didn't really survive because of, I mean, long time passing, other people moving on, and not enough community gathering on one project, leading to deprecation due to not having, sorry, to not having. Sorry, can someone is speaking?
Yes, unmute, sorry.
It wasn't understandable. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, if you like, we cannot hear you. So if you have any comments or something, feel free to write on chat. Okay, thank you, Oleg. Yeah, so high level, they were not sustained, like the project were not sustainable. But it doesn't mean we don't want to have an operator. We are happily want to support to make etcd running easier and to build in the knowledge that is unfortunately needed to run such a project. And there is no easy solutions to just make etcd, I know, less complicated. I think that the best thing to, or currently for in Kubernetes, the best thing to start from is with operator. So this been brought up like in previous discussions on previous KubeCons, and on the latest KubeCon of Paris, we gathered enough people that are running etcd operator forks internally with enough code changes that if we know that everyone is suffering on their own with their own fork, and I think we have like enough critical mass that we could combine with code bases, combine the experience and combine the community to stop being working individually to the one project. And so this is both. This is a good chance to maybe, or with a lot of interest, it's a good time to start discussing it broadly. But there are some like big, questions and requirements that needs to be fulfilled first. So we don't have a strong opinion which operator should be used. Like either we should resurrect alt fork, or we should build something from the scratch. At least that's my opinion. I think there are different opinions from different. My goal was to gather as many people to discuss this and gather requirements understood, because the worst thing we could do is to lose the opportunity to everyone discuss it together and build something, causing it to be created, get popular, but solve only small subset of issues that most community cares, or doing reverse or any other like case. So my high level, that I'm happy to see the initiative. But there is, like, as any other project that is added to SIG or adopted by a SIG, we have certain requirements. So high level, the goal of making some project official or support some official feature is not to bootstrap the project, or not to push community and say, oh, we know the best thing that someone should do. The goal is to make something that is already embraced by community and popular official. So make something easier for people to access that is already successful. So it's a little bit harder, but we don't want to make an official operator and then push it on our opinion immediately on everyone and say this is the best option when there are many other options. So my high level thoughts is that the project needs to be embraced by community itself. So there need to be multiple contributors and maintainers that are from diverse set of companies to make the project and development sustainable. It needs to be embraced by users in some way. So either different companies or non-contributing companies should be considering using it in production. Maybe it doesn't need to be like production battle tested, but people need to be thinking about making production and testing it and using it. And third, there needs to be some sort of maturity. I'm not saying that it should be super mature, but it needs to have APIs stable enough that we trust that they will not break them the next day or week. I think usually in Kubernetes we call it around beta stability, I would say. It would be good for them to be reviewed by people that have experience in operators and by etcd maintainers to give opinion on to make sure that how etcd is developed doesn't clash in some way. And yeah, I think those are 3 points from me. I know that also Benjamin has some opinion, but Andre, did you raise the hand? I don't know if there's more hands.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask if you have any information about previous maintainers and some production users who would interested in building standardized and unified etcd operator, official one. I think that we can join all of them together to build a working group for making official etcd operator. And can we just make this working group, and what can we do? How can we get this information, or how it can be established, if you have any information on that?
Yeah. So I tried to gather to this meeting as many people as I could. That's not everyone, I think, was able to come. I think Datadog, someone from Datadog let me know that they could not come. I think it's a good idea, but I know that Benjamin has more ideas about how this operator could be created. Benjamin, do you want to talk more?
Yeah. From my perspective, I think firstly, we are open to feedback from anyone, especially from a user. So I think the most important thing to just collect requirements from users, for example, from the host control plane and Kilian, and also from the previous maintainer, for example, the etcd manager and the CoreOS etcd operator, from the maintainer, from the old etcd operator is also important. So anyway, the first step is to get feedback from all the users, and then after that we can also investigate the existing operator, for example, the CoreOS etcd operator, to try to reuse some existing component or source code.
Yeah, just an FYI, by etcd operator, I also mean all the forks. There are at least 2 forks that were maintained for some time past the original etcd operator, to at least make it more compatible with newer versions of Kubernetes or newer version of Golang. So I would close, or in the same bucket, I would keep other operators. And also, I was hoping to convince maybe some of those companies that fork etcd operator to make their fork public.
Yeah, so just to be clear, we are happy to get feedback from anyone, but the most important, I want to get feedback from, for example, the host control plane. What kind of etcd operator they want, and also get feedback from the Kilian, the CLI, and also the previous maintainer for the etcd manager, and the old CoreOS etcd operator. I would like to get feedback from those people. That's more important to me.
Yeah, Justin, have a hand.
Thank you. Yes. Hi, I'm Justin. I am one of the maintainers of etcd Manager. I see Cyprian is also here. He is also a maintainer. I'm also I don't know whether I'm a chair or a lead, but I'm involved in C-Cluster Lifecycle. And so, like, historically, C-Cluster Lifecycle has taken on sort of the how do we actually make these things work, and SIG API machinery or SIG etcd or etcd teams weren't as concerned about operationalization. So I'm very happy to see this, because I think it would be an excellent move if, Kube API server was easier to run, etcd was easier to run, all those things. I think that brings me on to the sort of the core questions I have. So first of all, I think it is it's a SIG decision, but at least in SIG Cluster Lifecycle, we have said it's perfectly fine to have a project that is just sort of amalgamating a bunch of things and doesn't necessarily need to be any level of stability, but is more just like a place for us to gather and have a discussion and try to integrate. That it hasn't worked very well, but it's certainly something we've allowed to happen. I think one of my big question, I think, for SIG etcd is, like, I'm hoping that this is about etcd thinking about how to operationalize etcd, like coming up with recommendations for like how to use followers and all those sorts of things, and that then the etcd operator would implement them. And so sort of like making that more part of how the SIG thinks about etcd. I don't know if that's the case. Technically, it isn't part of your charter right now, so I would be in favor of amending the charter if you wanted to. But if you, I think that's a sort of open question. And the other one is, why is etcd manager not an operator like as narrowly defined? It's because etcd, the big scenario that etcd manager addresses is bringing up an etcd cluster without a Kubernetes cluster. And I think that is tricky, and I don't know whether that's considered in scope for this etcd operator project, whether it is strictly an operator or whether it can actually be like etcd in all use cases. But I would point out that I think the majority of the usages of etcd are not running with an existing Kubernetes cluster. So I'm wary, if we're going to start thinking about how to operate etcd, that we focus on a use case which isn't the majority like scenario. So
Yeah.
Andre?
Thank you. Yeah, I would say that this nice idea provided by Benjamin. I would like to ask how can we get known them or etcd community about our project, or how can we get this feedback? Can we write an article on etcd blog, for example? Would it work? What do you think? Or maybe both article and development group, because we have some activity in Slack. I think, should we use more other channels?
Yeah, in the first step, I would like we can highlight list some use case, high-level use case. Yeah, we can just add comment in the Jira, sorry, not Jira, in the issue in the first step. And once we get a list of high-level use case, and everyone happy on the same page of the use case, and then we can break down the use case to some requirements. We maintain, I think maintaining, we'll discuss, probably we'll draft a Google Doc to summarize all the use cases and break down the use case into detailed requirements. After that, we'll publish the requirements. Does that sound good to you?
Okay, I just thinking it would be nice to publish an article, and if it's possible, or who can agree on that in etcd.io, if it's possible, or do you think if it makes sense?
I mean, here the main problem is conflict. I mean,
Article not about, sorry, I just interrupted you. I mean, not article about exactly our project, but article about the thing that we are collecting use cases. We have initiative group, and we want to implement all of those use cases. Please provide us with the information.
I don't know if, like, by talking about collecting use cases is it's hard just to send an article and ask everyone for feedback, and not everyone has opinion, not everyone is willing to put work or to in the end use it. So
Correct.
we can figure out communication like as a separate thing. I think we can discuss it. I think the main thing that Benjamin is concerned about is making sure that we know who are the stakeholders, and the stakeholders that will make decision and start the design and requirements gathering are gathered in one place on one document and are talking. So it's not about like having everyone like pulling, internet for answers how we should build an operator. It's about making sure that all the experts, we find all the experts on area and agree on the stakeholders.
Madhav?
Yeah, hi. My name is Madhav. I wear a few hats in the Kubernetes community, but I'm going to talk with my Contrabex hat on. This is a problem that Kubernetes helps, like the Kubernetes community helps solve quite a bit, because we run a lot of surveys. The most recent ones being for WGLTS. We've run a bunch of surveys for release engineering and things like that. So, Andre, if you can come on the Kubernetes Slack, find the SIG Contrabex Slack channel, and someone will help you come up with a survey and also help advertise it to the Kubernetes community. Since etcd is part of a SIG right now, you don't need to make it a blog post. There are people to help construct these surveys and help get the feedback you need.
Get
So
it.
SIG
Thank you.
Context Slack channel, just drop a message there.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
looks like we have a list of AIs.
Yeah, anyway, we for the next step for the LCD operator, I think the LCD LCD maintainer will discuss internally and drive to move forward. For example, to get feedback. I think LCD maintainer will discuss this and drive this forward.
Sorry, I just skipped. What was the question?
Yeah. It's not question. You know, we need to move this topic to move forward. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I think LCD maintainer will discuss to for example to coordinate this effort.
And we'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone that else that would want to give feedback on the operator because there were more people, or can we go to the next topic? Okay,
All right.
I don't. Yeah.
We have 5 minutes left. Does anybody in the meeting have something else to talk about?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. So I just want to reiterate what we have discussed in the KuCon on the maintainer track talk. I list the schedule. There are YouTube, and then there is slides that you can look up. We talked about some of the project opportunities. There is SCD downgrade, which is a release blocker. And then we have test infra, which is a reliability blocker. If you are interested in contributing, please feel free to contact Suyuan on Slack. And then there is a performance qualification. We consider both release and reliability blocker. We can continuously run it and make sure there's no performance regressions. So James has been actively working on it. If you're interested, we are welcoming your help. And I do want to mention again, the mentorship program has been running for the past half a year, and we actually have some mentees made a lot of contributions and then been very successful in the community. Wei has been doing a lot of work in PodDB and other areas in SCD. In the meeting I mentioned, he is a reviewer of PodDB. He gained more than that. He is a new reviewer of the entire SCD project. Mustafa has also been working with Benjamin on the B-Boat, delivering a lot of features. Suyuan worked on several main projects. Some of them are release blockers. Some of them are making sure the SCD is have improved reliability, stability. And James using this mentorship program, adding more responsibility in his plates on top of he is already the chair, but he start to do more things with this mentorship program. And thanks to Benjamin and Merrick, who has been spending a lot of their time and effort to supporting the community, growing the projects. I just want to mention it again in this community meeting. Now the mentorship program is still running. We still have a couple of mentees continuing this program. Before we start another cohort, there are other opportunities in SCD. We started a sub-project for government's framework. So we're bringing some of the topics into SCD, there are some criteria. The subject should encompass a distinct and well-defined feature set or components in SCD. And the second part is pretty important. We want to make sure we have dedicated individuals interested in leading and then maintaining the area in long term. And that should be a community interest. I think that as the operator seems like it fits in this area perfectly. And then we have some other proposed topics, including robustness test, CI/CD workflow, SCD cuddle, SCD UTL, gRPC proxy, and Madhav just added another one, the TLA work. Yeah, but basically, if you continue to contribute to those areas, it's possible to be like official leadership in the specific area. And before these becomes sub project, like becomes like having a dedicated maintainership, the existing SCD maintainers will continue leading those areas. So I just want to call this out. Madhav, do you want to talk about the edit thing that you mentioned here?
Oh, sorry. So I'm not sure if I misunderstood, but when I read subproject, I understood it to be the governance structure that that the Kubernetes community provides. So I thought this was like us trying to find different got documented subprojects of etcd. But if there are different criteria for that, then that's probably something that I should remove from the or scratch out at least. Maybe
Yeah,
I
I think
misunderstood.
Raft is already a subfolder in SCD.io.
So yeah,
Yeah.
the context is that etcd project is both a monorepo and set of smaller projects, and we allow, or it takes a lot of effort to move and a lot of like drive to and motivation to drive a project out of the etcd monorepo. We did it already for Bbolt was developed separately as a fork, but we did this first time for Raft, and we did it some time ago to move it outside of etcd main repo. The goal here is that Raft can already live it on its own, have its own owners. The goal here is to lower the bar, so we don't need to you don't need to be expert in full etcd. We want to start defining smaller parts in the main repo that can be owned and managed independently, or can be gathered and led by a single person, so that we can start building similar to SIGs each expertise and circles of interest around those areas. Even though they are not necessarily a separate repository, they are not set maybe one directory. They're like scattered around the main etcd repository, but are maybe not obvious for someone to own this. So for example, gRPC proxy is the code base is very scattered and it's hard to track, but it's something that we would want to someone to get more interest into or invest their time. Or for example, etcd, CTL, and UTL, we don't have really someone that owns the client experience for etcd, and maintainers know that they're not experts in that, and it's hard for us to build the expertise. So we want to motivate someone to look into those areas in the main repository if they're interested.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks. Again, like just to be clear, the notion of a subproject that at least the Kubernetes community defines, it doesn't require a separate repo or a separate subfolder. It's just some area of work stream, like you mentioned. So that makes sense. Thanks.
Okay. We are 2 minutes out of the time. If there are no super important things that someone mentioned, thanks, Wenja, for discussing, and I think we can finish the meeting.
All right, if
Okay.
you're interested, you can find us in SIG SED Slack channel. All right,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.